What do you guys think is going to happen if Trump wins?
The left is going to riot.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to throw more tantrums.
But I think they're going to do that either. I think they could do that either way, to be honest.
Yeah. So, do you think if they riot, do you think Trump's going to have to use the Insurrection Act?
It depends on where
That's
they riot.
scary because
It depends on where they
I don't
riot.
like it.
I don't like it either.
In
But
DC, he probably won't have to use the Insurrection Act because it's in DC.
Yeah, which it sounds like his power is pretty limited in DC as far as what he can do for crowd
Well, his
control too.
power anywhere is pretty limited. That's the thing that drives me crazy. They'll say like, "Oh, Trump's a fascist." Like, well, if he was, why didn't he send in the military to stop these riots?
Yeah.
Why does he keep
still
asking,
in Portland.
Why
Still
does he
going on
keep
in Portland.
asking these governors and mayors like, "Hey, I can offer you assistance if you accept," and they always say no.
Yeah, and then people get mad because they're
Credit-
like, well, Trump was basically withdrawing money from these cities that burned. And you know what? If I'm Trump, I'm not going to give them federal aid.
No.
Dude, I offered and said, hey, I have the support and the manpower to help you get everybody back to a peaceful position.
Yeah.
And when they say no, I'm not going to clean up.
Especially when
their
they're trying to burn down that the federal courthouse in Portland. I'm like, you were trying to burn down my building. Why am I going to give you money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I forget. Was it Minneapolis?
Where it started?
Maybe.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, it was all
So
Minneapolis
basically,
started.
you know, that city was like, "Hey, we need federal aid to rebuild the city."
Nope.
They were like,
Yeah.
"No, you let it happen. You didn't
Which,
ask
okay,
for help."
that's not, like, I'm a little shady on the understanding of this, but, like, that's not just a Trump thing that Trump
No,
can
that
say
wasn't. That was the
no,
federal
right?
government
Yeah,
thing.
that's a Congress and
Yeah.
Trump
Yeah, yeah,
together
yeah.
saying no.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's like, imagine like walking outside with a hammer, breaking all the windows in your car, calling up your insurance and saying, "Hey, I broke all my windows. Will you pay for it?" And they're like, "No, you broke your windows, you idiot. Don't do
Yeah.
that."
Yeah. Ugh.
It's just, it doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah,
What do you guys think is going to happen if Biden wins?
The left is going to riot.
I don't know if the left is going to riot if
Yeah, they
Biden
will.
wins. You think so?
Biden's
Because
been
this is-
supporting them. Who's going to stop
This
them?
sort of thing with the cops shooting someone is going to happen again, and they're going to riot again.
But
Yeah,
They're
like,
going to riot again.
Biden's not going to do anything about it.
how many? I guess Ferguson and stuff that happened with Obama, right?
Yep.
And people still rioted.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess it doesn't.
I do
matter
believe he
who's in
sent the
presidency.
National Guard in.
So he
Maybe it was Berkeley.
he technically can't send the National Guard in. It has to be the state governor.
Yeah, but they
he
were sent in.
recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, and that's the same position Trump's been in. Is like, hey, I recommend this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but they keep saying no because it's Trump, which I think is also massive TDS. Like, I would rather my city burn than accept help from you. It's like
Portland's mayor,
Ted
oh
Wheeler.
my gosh,
Ugh,
dude.
Yeah, what a putz.
They freaking like ransacked his building though,
Yeah, his apartment
I saw
complex.
that.
and
They,
his neighbors were like throwing things at the rioters, like things out of their balconies,
like potted plants and stuff. Yeah.
trying to, you know.
Jeez.
And I bet they got a talking to the Tim Wheeler there.
Well, I'm sure people are pounding. I would be pounding on his door. Get out.
Oh, dude, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. Is like the people who live there, they didn't deserve that.
No, they didn't, man.
They had
Like,
nothing
the-
to do with it.
the
They just
shop
happened
owners
to
didn't
live
deserve
next
it.
to the
Yeah.
guy.
I hear a lot of those people aren't even from Portland that are doing the rioting.
Well, a lot of people who go to riots aren't from those cities.
Yeah.
Like, I believe it was of the 175 people arrested in Kenosha, 104, I believe, were from out of state.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So over half.
Yeah,
It's the
exactly.
same in Utah when that happened.
Salt Lake,
Yeah,
yeah.
Salt Lake.
Yeah, which Salt Lake's becoming very, very left.
It has been for a while.
There's still
wow.
restaurants closed in Salt Lake.
Which, go ahead, Utah County. I don't care. I don't like Utah County. I'm like,
That's Salt Lake County. It's a little different.
oh, is
but-
it Salt Lake County?
Well, Salt Lake County is
Salt Lake.
Salt Lake.
I think Salt Lake County is about the same as Utah County. I have the same opinion of both of them.
Yeah, I couldn't care less for either. It's like the middle of Utah. Okay, let me explain this to people who aren't from the state. People on
you're
the
watching.
northern, west eastern, and southern parts of the state kind of hate the center a lot.
It's not that we hate the center.
We do.
They're weird.
No, we don't like them. They're obnoxious. There's way too many of them.
They're judgmental.
They drive like a-holes.
Yeah.
Do you really need to go 85 through a construction zone that's 60?
You don't.
I see it every day. I'm on to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, like, yeah, everyone from the outskirts of the state, we don't like the middle, particularly not Utah County, but Salt Lake's definitely getting up there, in my opinion. I don't like going there. It's just me.
I don't either. But like, I don't know. We saw riots in Salt Lake, like,
Yeah.
and there were people like flipping cop cars and
Light them on
You
fire.
see that white lady, that tweaker was freaking peeing on the cop car?
Yeah, there had to be drugs involved. I mean, unless she's just very confident, but I don't have the confidence to like get up in front of 40 people on a burning cop car that's being filmed.
It depends on how inebriated I am, I suppose.
You'd have to be pretty, I don't know.
Yeah, pretty out there.
For a girl to do it, you know, she's like squatted on top of the thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you're drunk, you're drunk. Right?
But I think the difference is Utah really. So our governor mobilized the National Guard. They came in, made sure all the residents were safe. They enacted curfews, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They whenever a cop was kind of threatened, or like that cop car that they flipped over and burned, they got that police officer safe, didn't have to do any confrontation basically, and then they came after these people later.
I believe one of the people who helped flip the car turned themselves in.
They took
really good.
Yeah.
They took the Facebook and basically, you know, these people, turn them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I wish 4chan would have been on that.
4chan only gets involved when it's like a
Big deal.
a big assault that makes big news. Because I mean, they're from all over.
Like he shall not divide us.
Anyway, B boys.
Oh, it's so
B boys or something else. Don't go on B. Don't go on 4chan. All it is porn. I'm not gonna lie to you. All it is porn.
But man, they are effective.
The thing that drove me crazy, especially with Salt Lake, and this applies to other places, it's like, well, they have insurance. Most cities are self-insured.
Yeah.
You know who pays for that? The people who live in Salt Lake County.
Which I don't live in Salt Lake County, so I'm not as upset about it.
I'm not personally upset about it, but like if I lived there, I would be.
I would be upset if they defaced my capital, which they did.
Yeah, they spray paint.
That was
all over.
upsetting.
That made me kind of sad.
It's like, yeah, what's that going to do? Aside from making people dislike you.
The cool part was in Utah, like the few days after that, like the people came and defaced our capital, there were tons of people that were turning out despite the coronavirus stuff to clean it up. Like that, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean,
really cool.
yeah, yeah, it was cool. But the same with other cities, I hate it. We're like, oh, we can steal from these stores. They have insurance. Have you ever dealt with an insurance company?
It's not pleasant.
Like,
You're only insured to a certain point, too.
especially like when it comes to state insurances. I got a little story for you. Long story short, I had a highway patrolman back up into my car, ruined my front passenger side fender, demolished my strut assembly, messed up my front passenger wheel. I couldn't drive the car. I had to get it towed to a shop. It was very expensive, or would have been very expensive. I had to call the state of Utah insurance, whatever they are, bureau. I had to call them every day for 2 weeks to get my car back. Like before they started working on it. Like, deal with insurance is not fun. They do everything they can to not pay you or not fix whatever it is. You really think these companies that are these small businesses even had insurance in the first place, or they had riot coverage, or their insurance even covers riots?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know how that works. Like if your restaurant had like fire insurance, but it got burned down in a riot.
Is it arson? Does it count? Probably not.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that works, but
Civil unrest, what would they call it? They probably say no. Because insurance companies want to do everything in their power to not pay you out for things.
yeah.
Any loophole they can take. They just want to take money from you. They don't want to pay anything out.
And you know, as much as I dislike insurance companies, at the end of the day, it's still not right to say it's fine. Someone else is going to pay for my
Yeah.
mistake. That's not okay. Like,
well,
be
okay, then
responsible.
what are you going to do? Raise the insurance premiums for everybody who has a store or residents in the area? That's not
Or a
right
car,
either.
like all the cars that are getting burned. We
Yeah.
already pay enough. Like,
Have you seen the aftermath of Kenosha, like those auto malls?
Yeah.
yeah,
That is insane.
Or they pulled, I believe it was like a month ago or so, they pulled a body out of a burnt building in Minnesota that had been there since the beginning of the riots.
That
Yeah.
is-
Yeah. Like,
that is horrible, man.
yeah, I don't know, man. The whole thing is just not very good.
Yeah, that's what's making me mad in the world right now. So I think all of our recommendation is vote, but don't just go vote. Be an educated voter. Find some good sources. And I hate to say it, but the mainstream media is not a good source anymore. You guys have got to find primary sources.
Keep in mind of biases. Like going back to, we talked about AP Euro. One of the big things with that class is, so dumb to be talking about this as an adult.
Oh, BBQ, right?
BBQ, is that what they're
Oh,
called?
Yeah, I think so.
Some dumb acronym for it. But the idea was you'd get a piece of literature, whether it be a newspaper clipping or some writing,
Like a
some
journal or
journal,
something,
whatever.
yeah.
But you'd read the thing and it'd tell you who the person was, what they did. And then you'd have to analyze it and be like, oh, well, there was this thing talking about, let's say it was written by a Catholic priest talking about a lack of funding, right? And you'd read it and be like, well, priests tended to have more money back in the day, do they really need this money? Right.
Yeah.
And so you'd analyze it based on a person's background and what they did. I think you should do the same thing with news companies. Like look at it and be like, well, they make money based on clicks, right? So if the headline is shocking, they want the clicks. Of course it's going to be shocking.
They're YouTubers with larger platforms.
They're YouTubers whose platform is dying because of YouTubers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. My take on it is like an example that if you go to CNN's a typically very, very leftist organization. The story they're telling you is probably not accurate. It's probably somewhere a little bit closer to the right. If you go watch Fox News,
they lean right. It's going to be closer to the left.
Yep. Yeah. So find two sources on either side. Get in the middle.
I would also say go. I don't know what the term is for it, but I believe in journalistic ethics, which I don't believe are being held up anymore.
No, they're not.
You're supposed to find three sources. I do the same with your news, but make sure the three sources are separate.
Yeah, make sure that you're not like CNN, MSNBC, and then like what's
we talked about it last time where you'll see an MSNBC article and their source is CNN and their source is somebody else and then their source is just some rando on the street, right?
Yeah.
Like, find the sources and
So be educated, man. I don't care who you vote for, but just know what's going on when you vote.
But also vote. Like, I don't care who you vote for, but just like have an opinion and voice it.
Yeah.
It's your right. You may as well.
Yeah, and part of your responsibility of being an American and having the responsibility to vote is to be educated about who you're voting for.
Thanks for watching the Basin Show. This was a smaller video from our larger podcast. Feel free to comment below, tell us what you thought, what you want to see in the future. And please subscribe and like the video and share it if you so desire. That will help us get our name out there and help us make more videos for you.